I'm Alicia George and you're watching 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source. We'll be back after this break to bring you the latest stories and developments around Dominica.
Introducing the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz has joined with Ashley Furniture, the #1 selling home furnishings brand in America, to bring you the most extraordinary furniture selection at unbeatable prices. It's now easier than ever before to find that perfect furniture piece for your home. And what's more, you can add that special touch with the right accent piece from our range of designer accessories from Ashley. Create the perfect look for your home with the Ashley Collection at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home. Visit the new Ashley Gallery at our Roseau store.
Welcome back to tonight's newscast. Among the day's stories, newly elected president of the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, DAIC, Jeffrey Baptist, says improving public-private sector dialogue is very important for the association. Baptist, who was elected president of the association on Wednesday, April 22nd, during the DAIC's annual general meeting, said this is high on the agenda during his term as president.
Over the last term of the DIC, we had some very useful dialogue with government and other stakeholders within the public sector. For us, we want to continue that focus and not just continue, but we certainly want to improve the level of engagement. My personal view is I think we need to look internally first within the chamber itself to understand how do we reorganize the chamber. A key focus for us is really refueling, reigniting the whole level of engagement within the private sector board itself. And certainly out of that focus brings forth another key objective of this new board, and that is to rebuild the membership of the private sector body.
According to Baptist, the DAIC is of the view that a private sector or umbrella body with such importance as it relates to development should have a membership exceeding its current 35.
And so key focus is how do we re-engage, how do we stimulate interest within the private sector body. I think we ended at a good place over the last period where we had over 10 new members signing on to re-engage within the private sector body, and I think that focus will continue. We have laid a good foundation we will build on, and it's about really trying to encourage private sector players to get involved, and we cannot change or effect change from outside. I think it's better done from within, and so we want to get the persons on the outside who may have had good reason not to want to be a part of the DIC in the past. But our view is let's leave that aside. Let's use it as reference to build towards the future. But certainly there is a place for us, and we want to guide and to direct and influence the national discourse, and certainly to help create a better environment within the private sector.
Baptist stated as business leaders being part of an umbrella organization that is financially unstable is certainly sending the wrong message to the public. As such, effective fundraising initiatives are on the cards for the association to ensure they have the necessary resources to support operations of the chamber and secretariat.
I do not know we should be struggling to get things done that will assist us in our mandate, and certainly we want to kind of revisit how we rebuild the income stream of the chamber as another key objective. So I think I've just laid it off. I think building on the advocacy that we've started, more effective, more engaging public-private sector dialogue, looking internally, how do we reorganize ourselves, how do we become a bit more cohesive, a bit more effective, how do we pool together and create a better level of cooperation and collaboration within the private sector itself, and hopefully for us, if we can cement some partnerships within the private sector where we may have business people wanting to come together to find new investment opportunities and maybe do some new things to create greater employment and to stimulate growth within the private sector. I think that will be important for us.
The DAIC president added, although the objectives of the association may seem lengthy, there are certainly plans that can be achieved with a dedicated focus from the board members and the wider membership of the private sector. And the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal, in collaboration with the Discover Dominica Authority, have announced increased air access capacity into Dominica via Seabourn Airlines. Seabourn Airlines will now serve Dominica direct from San Juan, Puerto Rico, 7 days a week. The addition of the Wednesday service increases the capacity of seats into and out of Dominica by 1,768 annually. Minister of Tourism and Urban Renewal, Honorable Senator Robert Tong, gave some insight into this new schedule, which is set to begin on June 7th.
Seabourn Airlines will now serve Dominica direct from San Juan, Puerto Rico, 7 days a week, as opposed to the 6 days they did before. The addition of the Wednesday service increases the capacity of seats into and out of Dominica by 1,768 seats annually. But most importantly, in addition to the increased capacity, effective 7th of June, Seabourn Airlines will now depart San Juan at 4:10 and arrive in Dominica at 6 p.m. The aircraft and crew will overnight in Dominica, and Seabourn will depart Dominica at 7 a.m. and arrive in San Juan at 8:45.
Minister Tong said this change will be more convenient for passengers and crew on flights to and from Dominica.
This change is significant to provide inconvenience to travelers in making connections and getting to Dominica in one day, and to make other earlier connections outbound. So no longer one will have to wait and overnight in Puerto Rico, incurring additional costs. The new schedule provides a 41% increase in connections to the U.S. Seabourn has operated as American Airlines affiliate into Dominica since the pullout of American Eagle in 2013.
Seabourn Airlines operates at an above industry average for dependability. Seabourn offers fares as low as $145 based on availability for flights from Dominica to San Juan. And in other stories, I'm sure most of our viewers have heard the news that at its 81st meeting on February 24, 2015, the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB Monetary Council, took the decision to remove the 1 and 2 cent coins from circulation. But what exactly does that mean for the paying population? Well, effective July 1st, 2015, these coins will no longer be issued out to commercial banks, and the price rounding system will be implemented within countries who use the EC currency for the settlement of cash transactions only, while total payments inclusive of duties, fees, and taxes will be rounded evenly to the nearest 5 cents. Non-cash payments using checks, debit, and credit cards will not be impacted and therefore will not be rounded off. The decision to remove the 1 and 2 cent coins from circulation was agreed upon based on the high production cost of these coins compared to their actual value, coupled with the large volumes required to maintain an adequate supply in circulation. The local branch of the ECCB on Tuesday invited media practitioners to a video conference on the phasing out of the 1 and 2 cent coins to guide the finalization of the bank's public education campaign. Moving along, on Wednesday, Dominica joined the rest of the world in observing Earth Day 2015. Earth Day is intended to inspire awareness and appreciation for the Earth's environment. This year, the day was celebrated under the theme, "It's Our Turn to Lead," with a goal to promote environmental awareness, develop sustainable initiatives, and galvanize every human to pledge acts of green. Persons were encouraged to reduce energy consumption, start composting, stop using disposable plastic, buy local produce or grow your own, save energy at home by choosing energy-saving appliances, go solar, protect the clean air, and support renewable energy. The Discover Dominica Authority has partnered with the Rosalie Bay Resort in hosting a beach cleanup at Rosalie on Saturday, April 25, 2015, from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. as part of Earth Day 2015 activities. And in an effort to protect the environment, Domlec, the sole electricity provider on island, says it will support biodegradable containers for the upcoming National Tourism Trade Show and Cocktail NTTC. This announcement was made by the company's public relations officer, Adina Bellot Valentine, during the recent media launch of the event and Hike Fest, both organized by the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association, DHTA.
This is the first year that we are getting involved in the hosting of the National Tourism Trade Show. It is no coincidence that we have chosen to give support in the area of biodegradable containers. According to the company's Environmental Management Procedures Policy, DOMNEC seeks to identify and manage the company's environmental aspects and to provide a guide to employees in the management of environmental matters. The identification of significant environmental facets is an ongoing process. The activities and environmental features which are to be reviewed for applicability as an environmental aspect assessment of significance shall be conducted annually.
Valentine said the National Tourism Trade Show and Cocktail, which will bring added exposure to the island, will also sensitize individuals on the need for continuous protection and care for the environment.
DOMNEC has in the previous years funded the hosting of HiFest because we view this activity as one which seeks to give those involved a more appreciation for Dominica and an increased drive to protect and promote those assets which some of us are not aware of. We trust that many Dominicans and visitors alike will use HiFest to explore this island and that the event will be truly successful.
The National Tourism Trade Show and Cocktail is the only trade show of its kind in Dominica, coupled with a series of educational and informative seminars on tourism-related themes relating to the benefits on tourism enterprises.
And so we applaud the DHTA's Green Initiative through the National Tourism Trade Show and wish the organization every success in its endeavors. We also want to applaud the work of the DHTA in continue to promote the island's natural products.
The company will also sponsor T-shirts for this year's HiFest with a splash scheduled for 4 Saturdays in the month of May. Up next, new Director General of the OACS talks progress made with regards to regional integration, and Digital Play sports enthusiasts in for a real treat. More when 767 News returns. Accurate, dependable. We go where others have not gone before. We bring you in-depth reporting on the stories that matter. Tune in weeknights from 8:30 p.m. to 767 News, with repeats at 10:30 p.m. and 6 a.m. the following morning. 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source. Only on Digital Play TV, Channel 3.
Let's see how easy it is to play Powerball and win. Simply select 4 numbers from 1 to 30 and a Power Pick number from 1 to 5, and that's it. You have just selected your winning numbers for Powerball, or just get a quick pick and let the machine select your lucky numbers for you. Remember, Powerball is drawn every Wednesday and Saturday from 9 p.m. Powerball from the Dominica National Lottery.
Thanks for staying with us. While countries of the Caribbean do their part to curb instances of road fatalities, like introducing legislation, Dominica is positioning itself to recognize Road Safety Week in May. From May 4th to 10th, the public is being encouraged to focus on road safety under the theme Save Kids' Lives. Several activities are expected to be carded for the week. We now go to a report from Rima Alfred on the realities of regional and global road fatalities.
Although efforts to reduce road fatalities globally have revealed some progression, injuries due to road traffic crashes continue to be a significant and major global health and developmental problem. Globally, road crashes kill over 1.2 million people, while 30 to 50 million others are seriously injured or become disabled as a result, according to a June 2009 Global Status Report on Road Safety by the World Health Organization. Road traffic injuries were said to be the 8th leading cause of death globally and the leading cause of death among young people between the ages of 15 and 29. Based on trends at that time, the World Health Organization predicted that by 2030, road traffic fatality will be the 5th leading cause of deaths worldwide. As recent as this week, the Trinidad and Tobago government introduced legislation providing for stiff penalties for motorists found driving with an alcoholic drink, as well as parking in spaces designated for the physically challenged in supermarkets, pharmacies, and other public places. The bill, which allows for a 6-month jail term, makes it an offense for a person to drive or operate a motor vehicle while having in the cabin area an open bottle, container, or vessel with any alcoholic beverage.
It is expected that this year's Road Safety Week in Dominica will include school lectures. 767 News will bring you an update of the week's activities in a subsequent newscast. In other stories, the strategic one-day retreat with staff of the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, OECS Competitive Business Unit, CBU, is anticipated to be a step forward as the OECS seeks to address ongoing issues of regional integration. Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didicus Jules, said the retreat will assess progression made within the unit by way of promotions and with respect to boosting the export potential of business manufacturers in the OECS. Dr. Jules stated that it is time the organization takes a critical look at the way forward for the competitive business unit.
The CBU, as you know, has been doing a wonderful job in terms of identifying niche businesses that have potential to grow into big business, export business opportunities for the OECS. But we are at a point in history where we need to take a very critical look at what we've been doing, how we've been doing things, and how we need to move things forward in the future.
According to Dr. Jules, several steps to integrate the region have been successful, specifically in relation to the free movement of people. The introduction of French Caribbean islands as part of the associate member states, ACS, of the OECS has also proved beneficial, he said, with Guadeloupe expected to join the association by the end of 2015. He noted, however, that the inclusion of these islands to the ACS does not make them participants in the economic union, and they are therefore exempt from conditions like adopting the EC currency or partaking in certain trade arrangements like the freedom of movement of people.
What the associate membership means is that there are new avenues of collaboration between Martinique and Guadeloupe that will be open through that membership to the OECS. So we hope that while they will not enjoy the same freedom, we will not enjoy the same freedom of movement with Martinique as we do between St. Lucia and Dominica and Grenada and St. Vincent and Anguilla. There will be hopefully in the future some relaxation of or ease of travel and movement and ease of commerce between the islands and Martinique and Guadeloupe.
The OECS Director General trusts that there will be an increase in trade when relations with these two French countries are ironed out, while the OECS continues to work towards the freedom of movement of goods. Trade with Cuba, he said, could also reap huge benefits following the relaxation of bans on the country by the United States.
The relaxation of tensions between Cuba and the United States is another area of great importance. For 50 years, the Caribbean has consistently stood by Cuba, and the Cubans don't forget their friends. Now that Cuba is opening up, they have said to us from the time of the CARICOM summit, in fact, even before the relaxation, the Cubans have been calling for the opening up of trade with Cuba, but because of various limitations with the blockade, that was not as easy to do as it was to call for it. Now that the relaxation is happening, there are huge opportunities for trade with Cuba.
Dr. Jules said the Caribbean countries must move away from just distribution of goods and services into production, particularly for export, if they wish to witness growth in the economies. Dr. Didicus Jules was speaking at a press conference in the Dominica State College's conference room on Wednesday, April 22nd, while on his first visit to Dominica in his capacity as OECS Director General. And in more news, a team of university students from the United States will form part of acts carded to perform at this year's Jazz and Creole Festival. The Afro-Cuban Brazilian jazz band Mascunada is an ensemble of the top students from the jazz department of the School of Music at Western Michigan University. During a press conference on Thursday, Dr. Skylar Esprit, coordinator of the exchange program with Mascunada, said the exchange was possible as a result of Dominican links with the university.
And one of the members of the jazz studies program is the artistic coordinator of Mascunada, who is Ria Olivache. She's a Dominican national. She is a doctor of music performance. She's a voice professor at Western Michigan University and is the coordinator with whom I'm working on this project.
Mascunada and voice professor Dr. Ria Olivas, while on island, will feature in various public performances, workshops, and other cultural exchanges will form part in the collaboration with Dominica's Lady of Song, Ophelia Olivas Marie.
The 11-member band plays a mix of classic Afro-Cuban and Brazilian songs, as well as jazz compositions. Masquerade seeks to provide students with an education that prepares them to be successful jazz musicians. So Tom Niffick is the chairman of the Jazz Studies Department and will also be joining us with the band. He is a classically trained bassist, composer, and educator, and he has toured extensively worldwide. Recent highlights include tours of Europe, a tour of South America, and master classes and concerts at the China Conservatory in Beijing. Dr. Esprit said the exchange's main goal is for students to learn Dominica's ingenious musical forms and cultures. They'll be studying everything from Creole-infused jazz songs from Michael Henderson and her performances to Jinping and other types of musical songs from sort of authentic to Dominican musical culture. And so while they're here, they will also be sharing their classically trained experience with students. So we'll be hosting a workshop at the State College for students who are available during that time. We'll be coordinating or working on partnerships with the Ministry of Education to do performance clinics at schools with music bands. So it will be a full educational experience, and we're hoping to share the results of their research here and their contribution to Dominica with a culmination at the Jazz and Creole performance. Masquerade will open the Jazz and Creole Festival on Sunday, May 24th at the Caprice National Park in Portsmouth. And Digital Play customers now have a chance to see the most anticipated boxing match of the year. Today, Thursday, Digital Sportsmax announced that it had secured broadcasting rights to the fight of the century between undefeated 5-division world champion Floyd Mayweather Jr. and 8-division world champion Manny Pacquiao. The fight is scheduled to take place at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on May 2nd, 2015. Mayweather, the world's wealthiest athlete with a net worth of some US $280 million, enters the ring undefeated with a record 47 wins, including 26 knockouts. If he manages to retire unbeaten, Mayweather will join just 12 other fighters who have ended their careers without a loss. Manny Pacquiao, once considered to be the pound-for-pound #1 boxer in the world, is the only boxer to win titles in an unprecedented 8 different weight classes. The Filipino Pacquiao is bidding to become the first man to defeat Mayweather and goes into the ring with a record of 57 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws. Sportsmax Caribbean marketing manager Tanya Lee said Digital Sportsmax could not miss out on the opportunity to show the biggest boxing matchup in recent history to a Caribbean audience. The long-anticipated showdown between Mayweather 38 and Pacquiao 36 was agreed in February after more than 5 years of on and off negotiations and is expected to be the most lucrative bout in the history of boxing. The May 2nd matchup can be seen on Digital Sportsmax across its 25 Caribbean markets and on live stream pay-per-view courtesy Digital. In Dominica, it will air on Digital Play Channel 100 from 9 p.m. local time. And that's it for local news.
Count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. For every $9 spent on Big 4, you get a raffle ticket to enter our weekly draws to win $4,000 cash every Thursday for 6 weeks. The more you spend, the more tickets you get, the better your chances of winning every Thursday. That's $24,000 in cash. So play Big 4, count your Thursdays and win up to $24,000 in cash. Only from the Dominica National Lottery. Promotion starts from February 24th to April 2nd.
That was Larry with the latest in sports. Now for a recap of tonight's headline stories. New DAIC president calls for improved public-private sector dialogue. Increased flights to Dominica seen as boost in tourism industry, while OACS progressing with respects to regional integration. And that's all the time we have for now. Until tomorrow, drop us an email at media@767news.dm. Friend us on Facebook and be sure to like our 767 News page. From all of us on the 767 News production team, I'm Alicia George wishing you a wonderful evening and thanks for watching.